First, we're going to watch a short video to introduce you to him, and on the other side, we're going to blow the roof off his face as we bring JC Wojo to the stage. Let's watch. People should get a better seat coming over the stage, Jason Wojo! My guy. Keep it going.
Go! What's up, guys? All right. What's going on, Orlando? That's it. What's going on, Orlando? Woo! All right. So I appreciate the intro. I actually used to live in Orlando about 6-7 years ago. That's where my journey first started. Just a quick, who here has ever seen any of my advertisements or ads? Be honest. Okay, a good amount of the room, sick. And I was actually a really big part of, doing the marketing for this event. So I really appreciate Tyler bringing me on the team and also allowing me to come speak to you guys. Okay, a lot of you are in multifamily, that's why you're here. You're looking to close more deals. Who here has gotten their first deal already? Love it, good majority of you. Who here is doing, that is looking to get maybe another deal every single month, once a month? Of course, all of you, okay. So the biggest thing that I've been working on recently is something that I've never talked to about the public. This is a really interesting method that I've used. I've done this with about 8 to 9 people so far, and it has been so kick-ass. So I'm very excited to share this with you, okay? A lot of us, who here posts content online right now? You post content. Who here is afraid to post? Be honest. Okay. I'm gonna get you out of that because there's these 3 ways that I'm gonna break this down for you, okay? So this is the one webinar funnel that I've been able to use that takes 1 hour a week that simultaneously builds your brand at the same time. So if you're posting content and you're tired of being behind the camera every single day, you can take your webinar that you run where you talk about the deals and you can find people to invest in your deals, or you can run the other method that I'll get to towards the end, okay? And this combined with personal branding is gonna allow you to get more multifamily deals. How does that sound, guys? Love it. Okay, so the agenda for this is why webinars work in what we call a trust recession right now. Okay, a lot of people are worried about the economy, they're worried about these tariffs and all this fun jazz, but let's be real. We're in a trust recession. It's harder for people like yourselves and even myself to go online and buy things, right? Regardless of the way the economy is, we're just losing trust as far as information, knowledge, where it's coming from, credibility, authority, whatever that looks like. And this helps you get in front of your audience so that you can speak to them for an hour and now they trust you. And then you give them a low-hanging fruit offer that I'll talk about later on that will allow you to scoop up these people and then let them fund your deals. Second is what that webinar entails. So how does it break down? What does the landing page look like? I'm gonna give you a ton of value today. I've never given this out for free, to be honest. I appreciate you, thank you, okay? And how to capitalize on every single sign up. If you don't really know what webinars are, I'll kind of break this down for you really, really quick, because I know I don't have a crazy amount of time, but I'm gonna try to get through this as much as I can. So you have a webinar, okay? And you send them to a page, okay? And this is gonna have your landing page, your information. I'll show you a whole example of how this breaks down. Okay, people are gonna go to this page and they can do 2 things, okay? They can sign up and they can obviously attend, or they can sign up and not attend, okay? What if I told you that even if people attend or don't attend, you're still gonna make money on people who don't attend? Okay? And that's a big piece of why this works so well. And then what I call fan page clipping. Okay, you guys have probably heard of Andrew Tate and other people. I'm not gonna go too much into detail on that, but there is this new method that I'm using so that I can take one piece of content, okay? So let's say you record one video. I like to use the whiteboard a lot because I think that more of us learn through visuals. We could be told something, but until it's written down and it's visual, then I just learn it a lot faster and it's easier to implement. Agree? Okay. So if I get one video, and let's say you were to go in the lobby right now, record one front-facing video. What if I told you that you could take that video and just drop it, and I'll get into the details. You drop it into a chat, and you had maybe 50 to 100 people take that same video and post it to fan pages and get you millions of views a month without you having to make another 30 to 50 to 100 videos. You could take it and then you just recycle it. And then I can get a bunch of different people to basically just clip it up, and I can get 100 people a day to post. So that the one post that you're used to making that sometimes feels like a downside because we're like, we posted once and you got 50 views. You got 100 views, you got 1,000 views, and it's discouraging. I get it, I've been posting content for 7 years. You post a video, maybe you paid an editor a couple $100 and you get let down because it didn't go that well. And then it's discouraging there on out, and maybe there's a lack of productivity afterwards because you're like, this didn't really go that well. You could capitalize with this. And here's the crazy part, okay? PFR, what does that mean? You're only gonna pay for results if you send it to people who clip it for you. You're not gonna pay video editors the usual $20, $30, $50, $100 to post the video, right? You're not paying for other fan pages. They're creating a fan page with your name so that you rank higher on SEO and ultimately just, obviously grow from there, okay? Like Devin was talking about, I spent about $35 million on paid traffic. I've done over $150 million online and 90 plus niche verticals. This is just one of the verticals that I'm in, which is, it's either, real estate investing, real estate coaching, consulting, service providers, online service providers, brick and mortar, you name it, I've ran ads in it. I've ran ads for some very, very weird niches. E-com stores, Amazon, like, you probably couldn't give me a niche that I haven't ran ads in, okay? Now, for some of you who don't know who I am, my name is Jason Wojo. I've spent, like I said, 35 million online, 4x lifetime ROAS. I run Wojo Media, which is a marketing firm. We do full stack marketing for clients around the United States, Australia, UK, you name it. And we have about 55 plus active team members. I don't run some like VA marketing company. These are mostly US based people, from media buyers to strategy leads. Like, we built a really awesome organization. And I give a lot of props to that to my CEO because I pulled myself out of the business and I can focus on speaking and, pushing knowledge out there and just like doing more revenue driven things, which a lot of us want to be able to do. Same? You guys feel that way? You want to get into real estate, you want to build passive income, now you want to do other things? I get it. But it starts with the people behind you. It starts with being a leader. It starts with putting those A players in place so that you can attract those A players, right? Because it's hard. It's hard to build a team. And I've been an authority in the space now for 7+ years. No one online has a bigger following than I do. I don't say that to boast or whatnot, but it's just math. No one has more followers. No one gets more views in the paid advertising space. Okay, so if we're talking about funnels, no, that's Russell Brunson. But if we're talking about just paid traffic, that is me. I'm #1 when you go on Google and search it. It's just math. And I've had over 1.3 million followers on Instagram right now. I have another, I'm verified on YouTube. We're pushing more content on there. Also TikTok. I have over like 3 billion views on TikTok. So it's been pretty sick. And I've been able to build my business to the point where we will now consistently do about 1.3 to 1.5 million a month. So it's been something that I've been very proud of. So doing this for 7 years, it takes a lot of practice and time. I appreciate that. So there's 4 key parts to this. This is where I really want you guys to start taking notes, okay? There's 4 important parts about how this webinar works. #1 is the offer or the properties that you want to push, okay? So maybe you have a deal that you want to get funded, okay? And you're looking for this syndicate way to have people fund your deals. This is hands down the fastest way. Second is you need to have a high converting landing page and have good copy. I'm gonna give you an example that you can all take a picture of. I just had to blur out some things because my client wanted some confidentiality in this, so I have to respect that, but I'll just give you like the copy and whatnot. And then you need to understand like how to run actual campaigns. Like, what is the structure of the ads? What should they look like? What are multiple different variants on how to have a profitable campaign when it comes to this kind of funnel? And then I'm gonna give you the exact like back-end KPIs, like what your show rate should be, et cetera, so that you actually run a webinar that works and you know what numbers to be tracked. Because we could run something, but until we track it, that's where we start, obviously understanding our numbers and knowing how to scale upon that. Okay, a lot of us have done something in the marketing space before. We've ran traffic or you've posted videos online and then you get a result and you're like, it didn't work. Okay, but what were we tracking to quantify that? That's an emotional choice. Like we need to track the actual, just like you track the numbers on your deals. The same thing goes for marketing. The same thing goes for sales, right? Because sales and marketing work together. So the first one is the offer and the properties that you want funded, okay? I have tested so many different names for a webinar or an event, right? Obviously you're here at one right now. The way that you name your mechanism or the name of the company or whatever that looks like, a lot of people get so sidetracked on what my logo looks like or all these like small incremental things. What you name the thing and what unique mechanism you use actually will change conversion rates a ton. So like a good example is, some of these. Like I've tried stuff for my own events. Like I have Scale Your Offer, I have Scale Your Ads, I have all these different names that I've tried in the past. And I will let the market dictate what that winning acronym or winning name is. Okay, so that's why like Russell, for example, he does one funnel away. Like that's always crushed for him because it's a good, it's just a good unique mechanism. It makes you feel like you're one funnel away. If you were to call it something else, it wouldn't perform as well. So I have a book, it's called Ads That Sell, right? And what did I do before I launched it? I took 5 different mock-ups. Like before I launch something, I want you all to understand that you don't have to have the product done yet, right? Like whenever I launch a marketing campaign, I will make like 3 to 5 different landing pages and I will simply just make different names for it. And then I'll run the same ad to all 5 and then I'll find the winner and then I'll invest all my money in it. So before I even wrote a book, before I even came up with the cover, I made a mock-up. I got someone on Fiverr to make it for 20 bucks each and I took 5 different covers of the book. I ran ads to it and then I found out what the winner was and then I went to go write the book, right? And you're probably wondering, oh, well, what if people bought it? What did you do? I just refund them. They're just a part of a marketing study. So like think about that before you push anything out in the marketplace. Don't sit there and say, I need to have this thing done yet, or it's not the right time to do X. It's always the right time. You just need to look at it differently. Because sometimes we get sidetracked on where am I getting my data from, and most of us go here. Like, let's be real. I could say whatever I want up here, but it's up to you to give me the energy if what I'm saying is actually validated or not because you're the market. It doesn't matter what I say up here. I could say something up here and you're all like, yeah, okay, whatever. But until you're like, oh, wow, this was great, until I get people in the back who are like, wow, this was dope, blah, 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 then I know that the market validated it, right? So don't let that get in the way of your marketing campaigns and anything that you do with your personal brands, please don't. So this is how I really headline my webinar in one sentence. You can literally take this as fill in the blank, literally step 1 through 6 on how I basically headline the webinar, okay? So reveal how X avatar, whoever you're targeting, is achieving X result by attending webinar name, whatever that webinar mechanism name is, on X day at X time. Okay, if you're wondering, well, hey Wojo, when do I run a webinar, right? What's the best time? Okay, take note. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays at nighttime. Okay, so that's like 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern, like any of those times is gonna work very, very well for you. Do not run your webinar on a Saturday at 1 p.m. People are out playing mini golf and stuff. Like that's not what they're doing, okay? And then we get into the actual like campaign structure. A lot of people love this when I go over this. This is the way that I look at running ads right now in today's world. We're in a trust recession. You need to be able to test as many different angles as possible. Okay, so your first angle is a value ad set. So like on the left-hand side, that is your campaign, okay? This is what you're clicking Facebook, clicking create, whatever platform you're on, this is my campaign name, and then there's ad sets that are divvied up from there. So the first one's always a value ad set. The value ad set is how do I drive value to the audience and then do a CTA at the end. A lot of us run ads, it's all about CTA, and I just don't believe in that. You gotta give value to the audience first, okay? So show them something high level that you know that they don't, okay? And it could be small, like you might think that the thing that you know is not massive at scale, but the small win to somebody is a big win to somebody else. If I went into a business owner's funnel and they were doing like maybe less than 10 grand a month and I fixed one thing in the funnel that made it convert higher, you as the expert, you're gonna sit there and go, oh, that's not that big of a deal. But to that person who's struggling to pass 10K a month, that is a big deal for them. Like they're gonna become a raging fan. So don't downplay things that you know. Second is a lifestyle ad set. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that you're showing off properties, you're showing off passive income, you're showing off things that you've been able to acquire because you do real estate. Like, hey, I have this deal, and this deal, and that funded this. Okay, so that would be an angle for like a lifestyle ad set as far as your audience. Okay, or because I've locked down the X deal, Y deal, and Z deal, I was able to do X. And that usually comes into like the whole family aspect, right? Like family's a big thing as you grow older and you start your values and stuff change. Okay, when you go lifestyle, you can say, hey, because I got X deal, X deal, X deal, I can now afford to do this with my family. Like that's a good angle too. Third is demonstration. Third is if you did an ad saying, okay, I'm gonna show you in 60 seconds how I lock down this multifamily deal. And then you can join me X day and I'll show you how to do it yourself. So like a 60-second fast video where you're like, here's how I close the deal. First, you find the deal. Second, you do X, and third, and then you just do a really quick video and then you go into the CTA. And then there's a testimonial one, which is if you had somebody who decided to do a deal with you and you're like, hey, here's Marissa. Like, let's say Marissa was standing next to me. Hey, Marissa, we did X deal together. Tell everybody how it went. That's a testimonial. Okay, and then there's CTA, which is just straight to the point CTA. Not against them, I mix them in. And this is just some things that I want everyone to keep in mind, like as you run this webinar funnel, as you do anything in your personal brand, your advertising, et cetera, like why you need to invest more. Okay, you're in this room, you're already investing enough. So I congratulate you for that. You're getting yourselves in the right room. But there's a lot of things that we have to keep in mind. One is market share. For the longest time, I was like, I do well at my thing, but do people actually know who I am? Years ago, they did it. And I was like, all right, I need to put more money into advertising, marketing, personal branding, all this stuff that it's hard to invest in those things because they're things that we can't touch. Like let's be real, a real estate property, you can touch it. But when you go into branding and marketing, you're like I can't feel it, I can't touch it. Like, what is the quantified ROI in this? I have no idea what's going on. And because I can't touch it, I can't fix it if it's not going right. One of the biggest things that I learned from Grant Cardone was, and he spends a lot of money in advertising, 60% of what you spend on marketing is conversion based. 40% is just for you to say, hi, this is my name. So when you're running traffic, let's say you spend $100 a day. Okay, 60 bucks goes to conversions. 40 bucks is just going to people to just see who you are. Like, it's a little discouraging to spend money on something when you know that 40% of it is not going to just straight up like ROI, cash for cash. And then there's retargeting. You might have, like, who here has at least 1,000 followers? At least 1,000, okay. Little do you realize that what if just one of those people could do a deal with you and you just didn't ask it? Like, you think 1,000 people is a small amount of people. It's not. Think about being here. It's about 1,000 people here that came to this event. Like, it's a big room. You just think that it's small because it's the killer of comparison. It's like, oh yeah, everyone's got millions of followers online. They make more money than me. Trust me, I've been in big rooms and small rooms, and some of the smallest rooms with the highest quality are the highest revenue generating, okay? If you had a room of 1,000 people who are at 6 figures or 25 people who make 8 figures, that 8-figure room will generate you more money. Because what do they have? They have more leverage, they have more access, right? So don't discourage yourself on, oh yeah, I just have like 250 followers. Okay, one of those people probably makes 7 figures a year. You just didn't ask, okay? The other thing is tax write-offs. Okay, I spend a lot of money on ads every day, every month, etc. It's a massive tax write-off. Okay, you're already doing real estate to, obviously offset a lot of your tax liability and whatnot, but now you can add marketing to that. And if you use it as well, like you could consult your accountant about this, but I use it for R&D. Okay, so a big tax hack that I use is that I use it for R&D, which is research and development, where I can show the IRS, hey, listen, I tested 2 ads and this one did better and this one did X. And I can test it with lifestyle ads where I could put my cars in it and I can test it. So now the government's like, oh, okay, he's showing us R&D, like this is good. There's a certain way to do it, but I obviously can't give you that advice up here, but consult an accountant, okay? Proving new deals. Okay, so if you find that one webinar did really well and you sold X deal, what do you think I'm gonna tell you to do more of? The same webinar, the same deal, just in a different zip code. If that multifamily deal did well, just do it again and keep recycling it. The problem with most business owners is that that's boring. They attach themselves to the new shiny thing. They're like, oh, that deal went well. Okay, let's try this one. And it's like, that's a completely different deal. Just do the same one over and over again. Okay, and then we get to make data-driven decisions where we can actually track the KPIs and make the right choices. And I don't know, anybody here know who Dan Kennedy is? Okay, good amount of people, okay. He's very good friends with Russell, one of the best copywriters of all time. But the person who spends the most to get a customer wins, hands down. And you get to build your email list and increase your organic reach. And also you get a lot more leverage with that, okay. The second is having a high converting landing page or a funnel. Okay, I'm gonna show you the funnel right now, which is this. Okay, if you wanna use this, okay, I'm gonna explain the whole angle and everything on how this works. Okay, so reveal how new investors are finding, buying, and building new construction. She does new construction multifamily in 90 days, okay? But this is what she pitches on the webinar. There's two angles you can do. You can do, hey, book a call with me and we'll see if you can fund the deal. That's the first angle. The second angle, okay, and on these pages, by the way, I wanted to give you this value so you could copy this, but all the buttons on this landing page, you're probably wondering, well, where does the funnel go? Like, what are the steps? It just goes to a pop-up where you get name, email, phone number. So if they click, hey, I want to attend, goes to a pop-up. And then that collects their info, and then we use Go High Level to send them email and SMS reminders. And then this is what numbers you should be looking for. So the KPIs to keep in mind is your cost per sign-up, the percentage of the people that actually join your community. So that's the third part of this, is that we have a webinar, we have organic, which is like your virality, and then we have like a school community or a Facebook group. We use all three to build this ecosystem, okay? And then your show rates, and then you're funded per head, and then you're funding collected. And like I said, there's two avenues that you can use. I want you to take a picture of this so you can see the cadence of the emails and texts that I use for the webinar. The exact time frames, like 3 hours before, 1 hour before, like just swipe it. Also, there's another hack that I do to increase show rates, and you can do this with, like, maybe you do in-person investor events or whatever, and I'll get into that. We use this thing called a Google Calendar hack. Every single person who signs up for our webinars or an event, we automatically add them to a Google Calendar. Not a lot of people do this. You just depend on email and SMS to get them to show up. You depend on email and SMS to think that people are gonna remember, but they look at their calendar every day. They don't look at the automated text every single day. So we just add their email and we set up an automation through an API that basically just like links their email into the Google Calendar. So as soon as they sign up through that pop-up form, it shoots them right into the Google Calendar. And then every 200 people, it will duplicate and then start another one. And let me tell you, the show rates are very, very high when you do. So if you want to add like 5 to 10% show rates, then you make a Google Calendar. Now, remember what I said here about the signups that do not attend, what happens to them? How do we actually get some type of funding or money from that audience? Okay, we put them inside of a school group. So this school group, this is mine, for example, but my school group, we've built this thing to like 10,400 people now. This is like a 2-day-old screenshot, but we have built our school group in a way to where even if people don't show up to the webinar, we can still nurture them. We can still do a live Q&A once a week. We could still message value in the chat. We can still reply to them. We can still build value, okay? Don't sit there and go, oh, well, if a lead doesn't show up, they're dead. No, they're not, okay? That just comes down to having a good sales process. And here's a quick checklist for you guys to make sure that you have everything dialed in for your webinar. From the event name, shooting video ads, grabbing testimonials, okay? You might have 200 followers, 300 followers, I don't care how many. If people come on that webinar and they get value, or they decide to do a deal with you, or they invest in something with you, just understand that the smallest testimonial will help you get more deals. Don't just discredit the power of one is better than the power of 0. And then we have the Google Calendar trick, school group. Okay, you obviously have your Facebook ads that you can launch with the campaign that I showed you. You're tracking your numbers, you're running that paid traffic, and then you do the fan page clipping angle, which I'll get to in a second. And this is the ecosystem that I derive into, which is you have your webinar, you have your school group, and then you have fan page clipping. Okay, so remember what I talked about where I have the one video that I record, and then I take that video, and then I send it to people, and then they basically will just clip it. So the webinar positions yourself for authority, value, and conversion in just one straight flow. Like I said, we are in a trust recession. If I just go on that webinar and talk for an hour, you talk about the deal you're doing, you talk about the deals that you've done, you talk about the credibility, all these things that you're gonna be able to help them with, I'm telling you right now, you'll have a better conversion rate than sitting there going, I'll just figure it out organically. You're going to get in front of people. The second is, what are the KPIs that I should be looking for within the webinar? 25% show rate, cost per sign up. When you run ads, $5 to $15 a sign up. Percentage of the room that's gonna be qualified is 30% plus. And you can ask them on a sign up form, also you can add a question that says, hey, like how much liquidity do you have? How many deals have you done? So that you know who's attending the webinar before they show up. You can add questions like that or do like an RSVP form, okay? Percentage of the room that books a call, That's about 15% or more. So let's say you don't go for something that's like a smaller, low-hanging fruit. You can just send them to a book a call. And you're probably wondering, what is an investment workshop? Okay, that example that I showed you with that funnel page, you remember that example? That, she runs it to a $4.97 dinner to where she will get people locally to come to a dinner for $4.97, and then she'll get them to fund the deals. They're paying to basically do a deal with her, okay? And she sells about 11 to 18 people a week, give or take. So she'll get 11 to 18 people to spend $500 a week, and at the end of the month, she hosts a dinner where she'll get 75 people in a room and she will fund an 8-figure deal easy. And that's how she does it. To where that person is not just paying for the dinner, they're paying for the ad spend. And she runs it in a local county. Can't tell you exactly, but she runs it in a local county and she gets everybody there, okay? And when I say this, trust me, it's not saturated, okay? Don't sit there and go, oh, it must be saturated if it's local. It's not. So she runs to a $4.97, they buy on the webinar, and then they come to the investor dinner at the end. And then they're just doing deals at her. And that's really how she's grown her empire. I think she has now over like 80 million just in multifamily. Right? So here are her results over the last 4 weeks. I have them popped up here. So like week 1, that's just her selling the $4.97. So she's profiting on the front end. So if you take the difference of ad spend versus revenue, she takes that and she can pocket some, and then she can use it to buy the dinner. To feed 75 people, let's just be realistic, it's probably about $100 a person. So take her profit, swipe $7,500 from it, and she keeps that, and she's getting her deals funded for free. And what do we do with these dinners? Okay. First is we ascend attendees into investment opportunities. 2 is we establish authority. They all came there to eat, and here's the crazy part. They think you're the celebrity for the next 2 hours. Like you get to live in the limelight for 2 hours. Everyone's trying to sit next to you. Everyone's trying to like basically share your fork. Like, let's be real. And then you get to self-liquidate the dinner cost. You get investors for free. You build community. You also get content. And this is the biggest part of this that I want you guys to understand. Let's say I was up here for an hour doing my webinar. I'm doing this nonchalantly with no plan to record. Okay, you're just in front of your Zoom camera just presenting and going through slides. That's all you're doing. What if you just bought like a $500 camera, put it to the side, and just did a vertical view of you while you're talking? Imagine how many clips you would get in an hour. You take those clips, and then you're gonna use, I want you all to write this down, okay? You're gonna use this platform. It's completely free, okay? It's called WHOP, W-H-O-P. You've probably heard of it. They have this feature now called content rewards or clipping. And video editors are flooding these groups right now to basically take your content and say, let's say you took that hour webinar that you recorded from the side, you upload it to your content clipping, you're gonna incentivize people, so you gotta pay them like $1 per 1,000 views, which is very good, by the way. Jesus, that's like 30 times cheaper than what you'll get with ads. So you run that, and then you're incentivizing all the editors to get all these views for you. And then you just get all the content, and then they're like editing videos for you for like literally, I pay like $1.30 per video posted. So it's like I take their content, and now guess what's done for me? My personal brand is done for me, and I'm only paying for results. I don't need a big content team anymore. I used to pay $30,000, $40,000 a month for a content team. Now I pay $5,000 a month because I have editors already doing it for me. So they're posting it because they're like, I want to get views. They upload the Google Drive link. I just take it, and then I'm like, okay, cool. We can post this on my page. I like how that video performed, and I can just duplicate the results on my own organic. And this is the clipping piece that I want you to see, which is this is how much we've done in just like 20 days of clipping. So 1.9 million views in a matter of like 20 days. And all I did is I would do a webinar, put the camera to the right of me, it would side swipe vertical, and then from there, I would then send it to the group, and then the group will post it, and then every single one of those pages, they make a fan page. So like for me, for example, Jason Wojo, okay, you'll have 50 people who join your group, they all make a page. Jason Wojo Real Estate, Jason Wojo Success, Jason Wojo Clips, Jason Wojo Motivation, whatever, all these different names, and then they post on your behalf, and then guess what the link in their bio is? Your webinar. So now they're getting views, sending traffic to your webinar, and now you're getting that result on top of the ad spend, and when they visit that link, what can you then do? You could then retarget them through ads. It's lower hanging fruit. The CPMs on this right now are $2.60. If you go on Facebook right now, it's $30, $40 CPMs. Okay, and these people have seen your content. They are now warm, and they're easier to convert. Okay, and I wanted to give you guys this. I made hooks for you guys. So if you want to go home, maybe you go to your hotel room later. These are hooks literally for your niche. So 23 video hooks just to take so that you can go record your next 20 videos. You take those 20 videos, you put them in a Google Drive, and then you can just make your own WAP group and get people to join. And editors will do it because they want to get paid. Like they're making money on incentive, not off just making videos. Because now they're going to care about the video more because they want views, not just to get paid for the video. Okay, and also if you're wondering like, hey, what if I don't want to do front facing? Okay, go on a webinar and here's 20 free Q&A hooks. Okay, so you could get maybe somebody like someone to ghost to join your webinar and ask buying questions or something like that, and then you can get those videos and you can do that as well. You guys finding this insightful so far? Yes? Okay, appreciate it. I've never talked about this because, to be honest, I like keep this on the low. And then we have the school group. Okay, did everybody get a picture of that, by the way? Does that mean you need me to go back? Okay. They're like kicking me off the stage. Okay, I have to like wrap up here, but yeah. And then the school group, right? You have your private community, you could post content in there. Okay, you have daily value drops, and you have direct access and mentorship. Maybe they don't want to do deals with you right now, but they'll do deals with you months from now. Maybe they're starting to get their skin in the game. They want more knowledge. They want to just take their own pace. Like people are like that right now because of the trust recession. Don't get, uneasy about it. People are taking more time to make decisions. Okay, and with that being said, I appreciate you guys' time. Okay, thank you.
My guy. Hey man, it's great sharing the stage with you, for real.
Yeah. Sick.